It takes a while to get it swarmed up because I tell you, they asked us what our notes were. Here they are.
Yeah. Yes.
What does unplug mean? And who gets the female end? I mean,
I'll tell you who's got it so far today.
sense of humor.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You got to have a sense of humor, imagination, and realize that they don't really know what they're talking about, or they wouldn't have been brought it up in the first place. I used to think that when a firefighter died, they were all buried in the same place, and they all had pimples on their ass. Because my whole career, people had said to me, "You'll never be a pimple on that guy's ass." If the alderman says, "But why are we paying $800 a bottle?" And I said, "Because a dead firefighter is $10.5 million." Oh, poof, over. Okay, we'll move to the next item. The police chief and my assistant chief out in the hallway says, "Wow, where did you get that figure?" I said, "I made it up." As a firefighter, I could never get excited about a one-story building fully involved with no explosions. Cannot get excited about that. To me, that's just a lighting situation. I got promoted during the riot times, and a guy gave me the best piece of advice I ever had. He says, "Nobody throws a full can of beer, kid." And truckies are not really stupid people. But we learned a long time ago, if we didn't stand in a circle and talk to each other, we had to pick up all that goddamn hose. The fire chief has to deal with 9 languages. Any language that comes out of the other side of the firehouse, meaning City Hall, you have to deal with. And you should be good enough at it that you can say anything you want to say in any language that they think they understand, reinforce it, and get the money and run before they knew you took it. Leadership. Well, number one, I don't think there's a lot of it left in America in the fire service. Number two, I had a very simple leadership perspective. One on my locker was Vince Lombardi's speech about second place games are losers playing losers for a losing trophy. And the other was a 3-sentence statement that said, ready, fire, aim. The discussion of rescue of firefighters is kind of repulsive to me because tactics keep firefighters from having to be rescued. And the first thing he said to me, he says, "You know, you guys in the East Coast are traditionalists." And he says, "But we're innovative." So I said to him, "How the hell do you innovate something you don't know the tradition of?" Management is management, you know? The leadership is getting things done and, like you say, preventing things from being done. And driving success through the efforts of others is really what it is. I'd like to see more company-level commitment to performance excellence, no matter what you call it. I mean, going to fires with 2 people on a fire truck, on a $600,000 fire truck is lunacy. Take a bus, man. You save the city a lot of money. And you'll do more because your head will be clear when you get there. I was always one of the first to grab these guys and say, "Listen, this is your job now. It doesn't matter what they did, it's what you do." Let me tell you something I told you last year. You are the fire service of tomorrow. And I'm telling you, take it over because it's being taken from you. You understand? So if you want to have some type of future that you define, you have to be in charge. I spend a lot of energy away from my boat, which really gets me upset, you know? And in the hopes that maybe some old people like me could capture some young hearts like them and say, take hold of this horse, you know, and get going.
So here's to you, with that smile on your face. Here's to you. Never time will erase till this moment we share, the love and the care. Here's to you.
The Fire Engineering Training Achievement Award was established to pay honor to those whose contributions have made the American Fire Service more effective, safer, and professional. That video we just saw is the hallmark of those words. The work of these people has improved operational effectiveness and has provided a positive role model for fire service instructors. Past winners include people like John Salka, Andy Fredericks, Tracy Rayner, just to name a few. Here to present the award today is Diane Feldman, who is the executive editor of Fire Engineering, conference director, who for the last 18 years has helped craft the pages of America's most influential fire service publication. Diane, more than anyone else alive today, has read more and seen more fire service-related writings. She knows the great ones, and at one time or another, she has edited all of them. Accompanying Diane is Glenn Corbett. He's a member of the fire service since 1978. Glenn's a professor at the John Jay College in New York City. He's our technical editor of fire engineering and assistant chief with Waldwick, New Jersey Fire Department. He previously held the position of administrator of engineering fire service in San Antonio, Texas Fire Department. Glenn has a master's of engineering degree from Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts. I apologize to everybody from Massachusetts. Glenn authored 2 chapters in the Fire Prevention Protection Fire Chief's Handbook, 5th edition, which Tom Brennan, by the way, was the editor of. Glenn continues to amaze everybody with his passion and his love of the fire service. His unwavering loyalty to us and its mission, and his unrelenting efforts to make it safer lend us tremendous credibility. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Diane Feldman and Professor Glenn Corbett.
Renamed the Fire Engineering Training Achievement Award for our mentor and our friend, Tom Brennan. Tom was the editor of Fire Engineering for 8 years, and he was a technical editor. He had more than 35 years of fire service experience, including FDNY and Waterbury, Connecticut. He was also the recipient of the 1998 Fire Engineering Lifetime Achievement Award. Through his writings, his teachings, and even his everyday conversations with firefighters across America, Tom exemplified training achievement in everything that he did. We are honored today that the Brennan family could be here for this special award. His daughter Eileen, please stand up. His daughter Terry and her husband Andy. His son Brian. And his son Tommy. His son Tommy carries his name, a name that means instant recognition in the halls here at FDIC. And now please join me in welcoming to the stage Tom's wonderful wife, Janet. Growing up the son of Ed and Mary McCormack, Jim McCormack had no choice but to join the fire service. His dad was the chief of training at the Massachusetts Fire Academy, and both of his parents worked out of their house building the ISFSI and the FDIC. A lot of informal learning happened around the kitchen table, and Jim absorbed it all. After graduating from the Massachusetts Fire Academy and joining the Hopkinton, Massachusetts Fire Department, Jim joined the Indianapolis Fire Department, where he is now a lieutenant.
Along the way, he founded the Fire Department Training Network, the FDTN, which kept him on the cutting edge of his firefighting skills. He shared his experiences and learned from others as well, passing along the blue-collar trade of firefighting in blue-collar terms to other firefighters and officers. It was, and has always been, his mission to keep things simple and understandable to those he is training.
What began as simple writing has become a lifelong mission, and he's always trying to find a way to provide realistic training and material. FDTN distributes a monthly training newsletter and department training package to more than 1,000 members and departments. It has published 9 training manuals on street-smart firefighting tactics.
The network also operates a 50-acre training academy outside of Indianapolis. The facility has 2 complete burn structures that allow students to perform live fire training in multiple occupancy types. A strip mall burn center structure is under development. Multiple training buildings and props allow students to perform all the necessary skills required during firefighting operations. Maintain the facility like running an actual fire department.
FDTN runs an average of 20 courses a year at this training facility, as well as courses throughout the country, providing hands-on training to approximately 1,000 firefighters a year. The network is now applying to the state of Indiana to be recognized and accredited as a school of higher education, and is in the development stages of the first known associate's degree program in fireground operations.
According to Indy Battalion Chief Bill Brown, not only does Jim stay up on the most current training curriculum, but he also finds creative ways to introduce that curriculum so students and firefighters throughout the nation can return home safely from every fire call.
FDTN's training motto is "Training Saves Lives, Firefighters," and it's his motto too. For this, we recognize Lieutenant Jim McCormack with the very first Tom Brennan Training Achievement Award. Jim?
Jim's chief, Jim Greason, would like to say a few words.
Thank you. I'm the fortunate one because Jim's on our department, so we reap the benefits. I'd also like to congratulate Dr. Neal. Congratulations, sir. Any of us who's had the privilege and the honor to go to the National Fire Academy at one time or another has always looked in the back of the room. There says Doc O'Neill, making sure that the curriculum that we're receiving is what we need. So thank you very much for your support. You know, as any fire chief, and any of you are in training or part of a leadership of a fire department, you also know that it's tough to schedule training. With all the requirements that OSHA puts on us for hazardous materials, the state requirements put on us for EMS training, recruit classes in our department lasts approximately 5 months. How do you fit incumbent training into the department? It's always a challenge. And if your department has a small training staff, as ours does, it even is a larger challenge. Last year, we had an idea in our department to try to start and reinvent the FTO program for the training that we thought we needed for our firefighters to make them safer and be able to perform their duties in a much safer, more professional manner. Well, up stepped Jim McCormack. His ideas, his facility that he has on the far east side of Indianapolis, he wanted to bring to our department. But Jim's strong nature says, it needs to be the way I treat it and the way I deliver it so it's done safely, and with the trainers that he can collectively address and deliver the training. So with a cadre of approximately 10 instructors and teaching all of our firefighters over a 48-week period in skills as SCBA survival skills, entanglement emergencies, firefighter mayday, emergency escape techniques, breaching for survival, and many more. That training staff delivered to all of our firefighters over 6,000 hours, 6,000 man-hours of training, which made our department a much safer department. And the way we know that, one of the younger firefighters in our department, shortly after receiving that training, became entrapped in entanglement. He reached back from the class of what he was delivered by Jim McCormack, settled himself down, pulled out the pliers that Jim McCormack recommended that all those firefighters carry, and was able to extract himself from that entanglement, saving that firefighter. So we know the system works, and how fortunate we are to have Jim in our department. And Jim, I want to thank you, continued success, and also I want to also introduce Director Earl Morgan. He's the Public Safety Director for Indianapolis, who tremendously supports our department. And one thing he does understand, he's a retired military man, and he understands that you have to provide the needs to the troops to perform the job and get the tasks done. So I'd like to thank Mr. Morgan for being here this morning. And once again, thank you all.
This really is Jim McCormack, too. Everybody who knows him can't believe he still has this uniform. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, Jimmy. Well deserved.